Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So today we are doing a pick an egg reading and we are going to be uncovering a hidden message or a hidden truth that is ready to make itself known to you right now. I'm super excited for this reading. I actually got the eggs specifically for this reading and I wrote down a ton of different messages on paper and then hid a couple of them in each egg. So I don't know what your messages are going to be. We will discover that together, but it's going to be kind of a fun and different reading today. But just before we get into it, I want to give a huge thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is an online community for creative and curious people with thousands of classes to help you develop your skills, explore your interests, and tap into your potential. I'm super excited to be partnering with Skillshare because from reading the comments on my videos, I know that a lot of you guys are creatives and many of you are even pursuing your passions professionally. Skillshare helps you find your own definition of fulfillment and success so that you can gain control of your career and creative path. Some of you guys might know I am back on my musical wagon. This bad boy right here is a new purchase. I have been putting out songs again and really getting into that creative process again. That's a really big goal for me this year, exploring more of my musical side and finding my true unique sound. But for a long time with music, I have struggled with self-sabotage. So my goal with Skillshare was to get to the bottom of these patterns that were hindering me so that I could start sharing more of my creations with you. I'm currently taking Creative Confidence and Silencing Your Inner Critic. It addresses issues that I think most creatives face. It's really helped me to break free from those voices in my head that are just needlessly negative and to give myself permission to not be perfect and just express myself freely, which I really think is the starting point of any successful project. Skillshare is giving you guys the opportunity to explore their classes completely free for 1 month. The first 1,000 people who use the link down below will get a free 1-month trial. So if you want to get started on your journey of personal and professional growth, then be sure to check it out. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Thank you so much to you guys for listening to that. And now let's get on to the reading. Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So today we have a pick an egg reading and we are going to be uncovering a hidden truth or a hidden message that is ready to reveal itself to you right now. This is actually a reading topic that was suggested over on Patreon in April, hence the Easter egg theme. So even though it's May now, I wanted to keep that theme. I thought it was very cute and fun. So we're using eggs today. And as some of you guys might know, over on Patreon, the viewers suggest topics for readings and then everyone gets to vote on those, and the top 2 suggestions will get made into exclusive Patreon readings. But there were so many amazing topics being suggested every month that weren't getting to see the light of day just because they weren't the top 2. So we decided, why not start to make some of the other popular suggestions that didn't win, so to speak, and post them over on YouTube. So we are gonna start doing that. So whoever suggested this originally, if you're watching this, thank you very much for your suggestion. Inside of these eggs, we are going to put messages. I'm going to be writing down a bunch of messages, and then without looking, I will place a few into each egg for you to see what you need to know right now. But for the option selection part of this reading, I have placed little crystals into each of these eggs. So I'm going to show you each egg up close, then we're going to pop it open and see what crystal is inside. And please pick whichever one or ones you feel drawn to the most. Number 1 is this green egg, and inside we have aventurine. Number 2 is this pink egg, and inside we have mozarkite. Number 3 is this yellow egg, and inside we have honey calcite. Number 4 is this purple egg, and inside we have fluorite. And finally, number 5 is this blue egg, and inside we have hemimorphite. Okay, so these are all of your options laid out side by side so that you can compare them and see which one is calling to you. As always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with egg number 1. Hi number 1s, so if you guys chose the green Easter egg and the aventurine, this is going to be your reading. We're gonna start off this reading by opening up the Easter egg because I have placed 2 secret messages into here for you. And then for each message, we're going to use a different tarot deck to elaborate on further energies for you. But you can think of the messages in the egg as like an energy check. So if what comes out does sound like something that could apply to you or something that you would like to hear more about at this time, then keep watching. But if not, you might want to try choosing a different egg. And then at the very end of the reading, we're also going to pull some oracle cards for final messages and advice. But with all that being said, let's get into it and pop open this egg. So my group number 1s, you have the message soulmate and soul family. So there is a truth that is ready to be revealed about your soulmate or about your soul family, or there is a message from your soulmate or soul family that they would like to bring to you. And then we also have needs more time or needs more work. So there's something that you guys are trying to manifest and your guides want you to know that things are still going to take a bit more time. There are more things that need to line up in the chain of events to bring you your manifestation, or they want to let you know that there's still a little bit more work on your end that is required. So these are the 2 messages that we are going to be diving into today. If this sounds like something that applies to you or that you would like to hear more about, then keep watching. We're going to start off with the soulmate and soul family message. So I'm going to put them like this, and then I will lay out the cards this way. Okay. Group number 1, what is this soulmate, soul family message that wants to be revealed right now? Or what does their soulmate want to reveal to them? Okay, we are starting off with the Tower. We have the World. The 6 of Swords. And the 7 of Cups. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Hierophant. And then let's go ahead with this message as well. Needs more time or needs more work. What is this about? We have the Star, the 2 of Wands, the Knave of Swords, which is the Page of Swords, and the Ace of Coins, and then at the bottom of the deck we have the 5 of Cups. Okay, so let's start over here with your messages about your soulmate and your soul family. I'm going to be using the bottom of the deck energies as like the most important message or the most important thing for you to know. So I believe that this is a message from your spirit guides regarding your soulmate or your soul family, the souls with whom you are trying to manifest a union. They would like you to know at this time that union is underway. The people that you or person that you are desiring to come into union with, this union will very much be in alignment with your highest good. So you don't need to worry about that. Whatever you want wants you. Whatever you desire is in alignment with your highest good. And your guides want you to know that they are working on bringing this union together. Things are happening right now in the tangible 3D world to ultimately bring this union together. And in fact, why can't I talk? There might be one particular spirit guide who is facilitating a union between you and a soulmate. But the Hierophant is making me think of a long-term commitment. It is making me think of marriage, for example, if you are manifesting a romantic soulmate, or some legal partnership, or some partnership that is recognized under an institution, like your names are together on a contract, you are bound together in some way. So that could be marriage, or that could be something like a business partnership. But the types of soulmates that you're bringing in right now, they are long-term. It's not the type of connection where like, oh, you come in, you teach me a bit about myself, and then we part ways. This is giving me the feeling of a very like formal, traditional commitment, a long-term commitment. This is what is coming in for you. And you also need to know that because you have been doing a lot of work on yourself, you have a very good idea of the type of partnership that you need and the type of partnership that you deserve. And maybe your guides want you to be a little bit more confident in that, like you are attracting good people, the right people into your life at this time. If you've been working a lot on getting to know yourself, on self-development. Perhaps you've even been seeing a counselor or a coach or a therapist of some kind. This has been amazing for your growth. And all of this is something that is preparing you for the highest union that you will experience in this lifetime. So with that being said, I think one of the reasons this is coming up is because as you are experiencing things right now, it may not always seem that way. It may not seem like this union or unions are coming to you. In fact, sometimes it might feel like the opposite. We have this Tower card here. So some of you guys who chose this group, you might be feeling like things are kind of hitting the fan in your life. Things are not going how you plan. You might feel that there is chaos in your life and that the future is very uncertain. And I think your guides want you to know that in fact, everything that is happening in your life is part of the plan. If there is chaos and destruction that is happening in your life, it is happening to bring in positive change. I'm imagining like an old rickety house being demolished so that a more sturdy and beautiful and comfortable house can be built in its place. And we cannot really start building that nice new house until we go through that very messy and chaotic stage of knocking an old house down. So it might feel a bit jarring. It might feel a bit hectic and honestly scary when old things are leaving your life, but any change that is meant to happen, any change that is happening is meant to happen. I'm sorry, group one, I'm having kind of a hard time talking, and it might just be because you're the first group and it takes some time for the gears to start turning in my head. But it also reminds me of something I was reading. I was like, people are desperate for change to happen in their life, but then once the change starts happening, they get scared. And change is very often not this like smooth and comfortable transition where you are gently lifted from your old situation and gently placed into your new one. It is often quite rough and chaotic and unexpected. So I think your guides just want you to trust that any changes happening in your life right now, they are in fact happening in order to bring these things that you so badly want to manifest. And I think that one of those things is a union with your soulmate or with your soul family. Now, it's very interesting that after this we have the World and the Six of Swords, because both of these are cards that can talk about travel or relocation. So if you are at a physical distance from your soulmate or from your soul family, there will be big and kind of scary changes happening to get you where they are or to get them where you are. I feel like someone needs to be relocating in some way. And we also have with the Six of Swords here, this can talk about moving away from a turbulent situation or moving away from a situation that is not serving us anymore into something more peaceful. And so if there is any situation that you're in that you are not meant to be in anymore, this is kind of harsh wording, but the universe might be making that situation more and more unbearable, almost as a way to push you out of it. So like if there's a job that you're meant to leave, for example, and you're not really happy there, but it's bearable, then you might hold on there for a lot longer than you're meant to, just because you can tolerate it. And so the universe might just be cranking that notch up a little bit more as the days and weeks and months go by to make your current situation a little less bearable, to honestly to kick your butt out of there. If there's situations that you're not meant to be in anymore, your guides will be making that very clear to you, because deep down your guides see where you truly want to go, into the arms of this soulmate or this soul family, where you belong, where you feel happy, where you feel at home. And so if you're not meant to be somewhere, if something that you're engaging in or something that you're committed to is not serving that goal, it's almost like you would give, I mean, I can't speak for you, but the way it appears here is that you would give your guides permission. Like, if this situation is not serving me, please let me know and make it super obvious. So if things are falling apart, it's because they're meant to. It's because you're meant to walk away from those things so that you can go where you truly want to go. So if I could give you advice during this time, it would be not to hold on to things that are falling apart. Even if you have it in your head that like, no, I have to hold on to this because it's going to bring me closer to my union. It may actually be the very opposite. You know, sometimes things look one way in the 3D, but in the 5D, they are very, very different. You may have to physically, geographically go farther away from someone, but what it's actually doing is making your union happen sooner or making it happen easier. It looks in the 3D like we're moving farther away from each other, but energetically, it's actually bringing the union closer. And there may be some things that you are, I want to say like falsely holding on to or holding on to with a false idea that I need this for my union. I need this to manifest. Like your brain thinks that this is the way. But if it's falling apart, if it's not working out, it's because that's not the way or that's not the best way. So there may be some trust that is required here. There may be some things that we need to let go of, especially with the Seven of Cups, because this is a card that can talk about, like, in this case, it's telling us about illusion. There may be something that you are holding on to because on paper it looks good. On the surface it looks good, but deep down it is not the best for your higher self, and it is not an ingredient for manifesting what you really want. I often get the feeling with this card like all that glitters is not gold, or someone kind of selling you a fantasy. Just to give an example of this, like maybe someone is dreaming of becoming famous and they've been emailing back and forth with this agency who is promising them all of these amazing things, but then the agency ghosts them. And then that person is super stressed out because they're like, this was my ticket. This was my ticket into having the career that I wanted and making my dreams come true. And your guides are saying, are you sure about that? Because I feel like that agency, or not, I know that agency was selling you these promises and selling you these fantasies that looked really good on paper. But if you looked at the fine print, or if you were to go through with it, you would see that maybe that they were full of crap, or maybe that it was just not what you expected. You're holding on to something because of like an overly romanticized idea of what it can do for you, or someone has sold to you that idea that like this is a good commitment, this is a good opportunity. And your guides are saying, no, like we got to get out of this situation. This is not the way to manifest what you want. And so this might look like a horrible setback in the 3D. It may look like a horrible detour that we're taking, but it's actually a shortcut. So please trust us on this. Like your guides are saying, trust us. We know where we're going. We know where we're going. It's like your senses are deceiving right now. We have to use our intuition. We have to look with our third eye to guide us where we need to go. So, oh, I just saw 1515, by the way, which could be an important number for you guys. But the truth that wants to reveal itself to you here is essentially that your union is being worked on. You are being brought to this union. The one or ones that you seek right now are seeking you too. This will be a long-term official commitment. Official. On paper, on a contract. In marriage or in business. But we need to trust the process a bit more. There's going to be some scary, and I guess by scary I just mean uncertain or uncomfortable. Some changes, some losses that to you look like a setback when it is actually a fast track. So trust the tower moments. They're getting you closer to them, or they're bringing them closer to you. And I guess try to avoid thinking of what ifs, like if only this had happened differently, or maybe I made a mistake, maybe this is the wrong path. Like it's no use to think about hypotheticals. So we're here now, we're on this path now, and this is where we are meant to be. Okay, so let's look down here at your message about something that needs more time or something that needs more work. And the message that we have at the bottom of the deck is the Five of Cups. Interesting that you guys got fives for both of your bottom of the deck cards. I think something that your guides really want you to know is that you are currently going through a period of massive change in your life, or you will be entering a period of massive change soon. I actually want to tell you guys that the next 3 to 6 months for you is going to bring a lot of huge change into your life. Like you will be in a completely different era of your life in 3 to 6 months from now. It seems like with this Five of Cups though, you guys have gone through some sort of disappointment. And I think it has to do with plans falling through, or maybe getting rejected, or somebody retracted their offer. So it was either like you were trying to get an offer from someone and you got rejected, or someone said they were going to give you an offer. They intended it, they were thinking about it, and then they either retracted it or they just like stopped communicating, and you're like, what's going on? What happened to my offer? What happened to my opportunity? Or like circumstances out of your control made this offer go away. There's a feeling of we have lost something, but we haven't lost everything. And more importantly, we haven't lost what was meant for us. There's a common theme in both of these about trusting that the things that fell through were never meant to be yours in the first place, which is something it's hard to remember in practice. I think in theory we kind of get it, but it's hard in practice. Like when we feel like something is in our hands and then it's gone, it's hard to remember that that's happening for the best. But trust the losses is a very important message. Trust that they were never meant to be yours, and what is meant to be yours is still out there for you. Something that's very interesting about this card is that there are no spilled cups. A lot of the time on the Five of Cups, we see usually 3 of the cups are spilled, and then someone is crying over them because they don't see the cups right behind them that have not spilled. But every single one of these cups is upright. So I think your guides really want to emphasize to you, nothing has gone wrong in this situation. You have not lost anything that was meant for you or that was gonna bring like a positive value to your life. That just hasn't come yet. It just needs a little bit more time. I think for you guys in this case, it's a matter of time, because I think you are already working quite hard, and perhaps that's why this loss or rejection hurt the way it did. And there may have been a feeling of, did I not do enough? Was I not good enough? Was I not working hard enough? And your guides are like, nope, just not the right fit for you. If anything, the other party didn't deserve you. And and so we shut that down. Like in the example of the agency, an agency that stopped communicating with you, it's not because you weren't good enough for them, it's because they weren't good enough for you. Which, no offense to this hypothetical agency, but it seems like your guides looked at the situation and were like, no, our king, our queen, our ruler deserves better. Our human deserves better. We're gonna keep going. And that actually makes a lot of sense with the star, because the star, first of all, indicates a bright future, but very often something that is completely exceeding your expectations. And so your guides are promising to you that if something didn't come through for you, it's because what is really out there for you is so much better. It's better than you could ever imagine. And they're saying if you knew what you were worthy of, or if you knew what you were capable of manifesting, this loss wouldn't even hurt you. Like if you knew what was out there for you, you would not even be stressed about this loss, about this rejection, about this person or organization not giving you an offer or retracting their offer or ghosting or whatever they did. Because it's just nowhere near the magnitude of what is actually coming for you. And with the Two of Wands, you have so many options. I feel like your guides want you to know that you're a star and that you have so many options. There would be so many people who would love to be with you, work with you. There are so many organizations who would love to have you. This is almost reading as like, there are more fish in the sea, and you haven't even seen the best of the fish yet. I think that there is a very happy partnership that is coming your way with this Two of Wands that is a match to the star that you are. And whatever you've lost or whatever hasn't worked out, it was not a match for you, for the star. For some of you, this could have to do with like a friendship falling through, or something, some online communications that fizzled out, something you were planning to do online or with social media that was just not working out, or some like application process. And your guides are saying this is only the beginning of it. The Two of Wands and the star assure you that your future is bright, that new opportunities are opening up for you, and there is an offer coming your way. And both of these talk about like long-term sustainable energy. Whatever didn't work out, like whoever or whatever was on the other side, it feels like it was a fickle energy. It isn't something, or wasn't something, that would have supported you in the long term. It was like a quick fix, or just a short-term agreement that, or partnership that wouldn't have ended up being meaningful or like supporting you in any meaningful way. And so that might have been one of the reasons that your guides redirected you. Because what is coming for you is stable and long-term, and it's fair to you. It's fair to you in terms of the exchange of energy and what you deserve. Like, you're a star, so you should be partnered with stars. You should be up there with the stars. And maybe you don't see that yet, but I hope that you will start to see that. And I hope that you see that soon. Yeah, something needs more time. For those of you who are trying to build your presence, for those of you who are trying to work your way up in a certain endeavor. For those of you working towards a certain like career or creative goal, or trying to partner up with someone, like an individual or a group that will help you along your path, we just need a bit more time for that. And since it is a matter of time, there's probably like a perfect divine timing for this to happen. And it's nothing about you not doing enough or not being good enough. It's just that these things happen. They're like mapped out on your timeline as this is the perfect spot for this to happen. So yeah, it just needs a little bit more time. Okay, so finally we're gonna get some oracle cards for you to get some last messages and advice. We have self-esteem. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. So we spoke about big change coming to your life with these number 5s. And I think this change is actually starting from a big boost in your confidence and self-esteem. And I truly feel group number 1, like when your self-esteem grows and reaches greater heights, you would look back at these things that haven't worked out, at someone who ignored you or someone who ghosted you or someone who rejected you, and just like, like, thank God that didn't happen, because I was worthy of so much more. I was worthy of so much better, like a better match for myself. And partnering up with a person, an organization, whatever it might be, you know, of course we want both you and others to be benefited, but I think you'll start to approach, for example, like job interviews or dating, you'll start to approach those less of like, I hope that I can prove to you that I'm worthy and I hope that you'll choose me, and you'll go into them more like, let's see if we're a good fit. Like, let's see what you can do for me. Let's see what I can do for you. Oh, we're not a fit? Okay. And keep it pushing. Like, you'll reach a level where you're able to do that, and you realize that rejections never did and never will be a sign of your worth or lack thereof. I see you in a place where you're like, okay, thank you for showing me that this is not meant for me. So now I can move on with my life and find what really is. And so we're not clinging on when we get like rejected or ignored or underestimated somewhere. We don't cling on to that, like, let me change your mind or what is wrong with me. We're just like, okay, thank you for showing me this is not for me. And now I can keep going. We also have, oh my gosh, we also have success. I know that there is no greater goal than to love. So there is big success coming your way in something that you love. We definitely have a successful union with a soulmate or with soul family, and with something that you're trying to grow in some way, like grow your presence, grow your work experience, grow your finances. There's something that you're trying to grow or something that you're trying to level up in, and you will be successful in that. I'm also noticing we have repeating letter S's. So that could be your initial or the initial of someone significant. There could also be a significant place that starts with S, like a country, a city, or a company. But also with these two together, it's like self-esteem is the key to your success. And doing what you love is a sign of success. That will be your indicator of success. If I get to wake up every day and do something that I love doing. Let's get one more for you guys. Finally, we have growth. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. I think that this journey this journey is definitely going to expand your awareness, and I think it's going to help to open your third eye, because something that is like a key theme throughout this journey is that things are not always as they appear to your senses, to your five senses, or things are not always as they appear to your mind. It may actually be when on the surface things look like they are the most disastrous and the most chaotic, that your greatest blessing comes. We cannot always judge what is going to happen or what is happening right now from what we see around us or from what our mind tells us, because there's very often something greater happening behind the scenes, happening for our highest good that we cannot see with our physical eyes. And I think what you're going through here in the future, this is it's coming through as a perfect exercise. That's kind of a weird way to put it. This is a perfect exercise for you in your spiritual growth, that in the future, if things start to look like they're hitting the fan, or if things start to look, oh, this is not going exactly as I had hoped it would, we remember that, oh, there's something greater going on right now. There's something happening behind the scenes for me right now. I just need to wait and see what it is. Like, oh yeah, this is supposed to be happening. So I think what you're going through now is a good exercise, so to speak, to really master that mindset, that everything is really happening in your favor. And I love that we have like these orangey yellow colors. These could be your lucky colors right now. Whether you would like to wear these colors or eat foods of these colors, your body could be wanting yellow and orange foods right now, to carry crystals of these colors, or maybe you feel called to work on your sacral chakra and solar plexus chakra as they are associated with these colors. Fire signs could also be significant for you guys. You could have fire placements, or an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius person could be significant to you. G could also be like maybe SG is someone's initial, or GS, or there's a place that starts with S or G. But yes, I think those are all. Oh my gosh, SG could be like spirit guide, which is kind of cute. But yeah, I think that's everything. It also is making me think of Singapore, SG. Okay, now I think that's everything. So, group number ones, thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, you can find my pick a card readings on Instagram, many of which are timeless. You can find my pick a card videos on Patreon, where this reading topic actually came from. The readings on Patreon are also timeless, and they're just like these. And you guys get to choose the topic for all of the videos. And you can also check out my music on my music channel, which includes the floating temple intro song at the start of this video that is an original song. You can also check out my latest release, linked down below. And finally, I have a vlog channel, Kino Vlogs, and I have merch at kinotarot.com, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video, and we have that on hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, and tote bags. So all that stuff that I just mentioned is going to be linked down below for you in the description, as well as in the pinned comment of this video. Thank you so much for supporting me and for supporting my channel. It truly means a lot to me. Thank you so much for being here. Group number one, I'm sending lots of love to you, to your spirit guides, your soulmate or your soul family, and your whole spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi, number twos. So if you guys chose the pink Easter egg and the Mozarkite, this is going to be your reading. Thank you so much for being here. And once again, thank you to the community on Patreon for providing this reading topic today. So we're going to start off by opening up this egg, I have placed 2 secret messages into here. I wrote down a ton of messages on little pieces of paper, and then I just plopped 2 into here. So you can think of this part of the reading as an energy check. If the messages inside of here do sound like something that could apply to you or something that you would like to hear more about, then keep watching. But if not, you might want to try listening to a different reading. But once we uncover those 2 messages, we're going to get into the tarot, and I have 1 deck for each message. And then at the very end, we are just going to pull a few oracle cards for some final messages and advice. So let's get into it. We are going to crack open your egg. And my group number 2s, you have Big Change and 111 on the camera timer as I'm holding this up. And we also have A Blessing is Coming. Wow, so these might have something to do with each other. Like maybe the blessing is this big change that is coming, or the blessing is gonna bring big change into your life. But I'm really happy to see this. I want you guys to know that, you know, I spoke before a bit that I wrote a ton of different messages, and they're not all like sunshine and rainbows. Like there are some challenging messages. So the fact that you guys got this, it's like quite significant. So if this sounds like something you would like to hear more about or something that applies to you, then sit tight because we are going to get into the tarot now. Starting off with our big change message, let's see what this is all about. For my group number 2s, what is the big change that is coming their way? We have the 7 of Swords, the Knight of Swords, these 2 came out together. We have the 2 of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune. And then we have the Magician. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Moon. So let's get into our second deck. We're just gonna go ahead and get all the cards out before we get into it. Okay. Wow, we have the 7 of Swords again in the same position too. We have the 5 of Coins, the Moon again. Okay, these are definitely related to each other. Then we have the 2 of Swords, and at the bottom of the deck, we have the 4 of Wands. Love to see that. Okay, I just wanted to mention with the Moon coming out twice, Pisces energy could be significant. So you or someone in this situation could be a Pisces, or Pisces season could be an important time for you. So late February to late March. Especially a Pisces with Aries and Venus, because the 4 of Wands is Aries and, oh wait, sorry, Venus and Aries. I'm having a hard time talking today. Same for group 1. And I just realized now that it's probably because of Mercury retrograde. But anyway, also someone with a Libra moon or an Aquarius moon could be significant for this group. And then finally with the Magician, this is related to Mercury, so Gemini and Virgo energy could be important as well. I think something that is definitely changing for you guys is getting over limiting beliefs or getting over insecurities. There is some story that you are currently telling yourself about yourself, what you are capable of, what you are good at or bad at, what you can or can't do, what you're good enough or not good enough for, that frankly is bullshit. And I think that's what this Seven of Swords is talking about. This is about deception. And I think there's a couple different meanings to the Seven of Swords, and we'll get into some of it later. But one thing that it's definitely talking about is false narratives that you have about yourself that are actually like deprecating yourself or underestimating yourself. You're actually capable of much more, and things do not have to be as hard as they feel right now. With the Five of Pentacles right next to the Seven of Swords, some of us, we may be dealing with a lack mentality, doubting our ability to manifest abundance or doubting the availability of abundance out there in the world for us. But with the Knight of Swords, I kind of really like how these two came out together, because I feel like swords are representing clarity. Well, that is what they represent. And it's also representing facts and logic in this case. You can actually facts and logic your way out of a lot of your insecurities and a lot of your limiting beliefs. Like, I'm seeing that they're just objectively not true. Like, if you're thinking something negative about yourself, I want to tell you it is just factually incorrect. Like, you are just wrong. I'm sorry. It is not true. And I feel like these are, you know, this is like your sneaky, intrusive thoughts. This is the negative self-talk in your head that is trying to pull a fast one on you and be sneaky. And then your logical side is coming into battle to defend you and saying, no, this is not true. And the second you start to, I want to say, question or interrogate your limiting beliefs or your insecurities, you will be able to poke holes in all of their arguments. And I love that, because I feel like many times in readings or in spiritual circles, we talk about like, you need to ignore like the logical part of your mind or ignore the analytical part of your mind. But here, that part of your mind is coming to your rescue and poking holes in the stories that your insecurities tell you. This is kind of reminding me of, I think it's like cognitive behavioral therapy, where you ask yourself a series of questions when you have a negative thought or when you're having anxiety, and kind of show yourself that it doesn't have to be this way. This is not necessarily based in reality. I don't have to choose to entertain this thought. Just because this might be happening, it doesn't necessarily mean the negative thing that I'm worried about. It doesn't necessarily mean that this bad thing is going to happen, and there's actually nothing for me to be afraid about. So it's like you may be getting into the habit of asking yourself questions to get out of these negative thought patterns, or it might be that something is finally clicking for you and you realize like, okay, this fear is just not logical, it's not serving me, and this knowledge is helping you release that insecurity. Like, there's a lot of fears here, or yeah, there's a lot of fears, there's a lot of negative thoughts that are just not based in reality, and we're plucking them away, we're getting rid of them. So that's one big thing that's going to change. It's actually in your mindset. And then once you get rid of those, I feel like it's really going to allow you to put yourself out there. With the moon here, I feel like a lot of you guys have been hiding away because you don't feel good enough. And so some of you guys may even sabotage yourself when it comes to opportunities that you could go after, ways that you could make yourself visible, make yourself known to potential suitors or to potential collaborators or to your potential audience. You guys might have a belief that if I'm good enough, my success will just happen naturally. You might have a limiting belief that if I promote myself and put myself out there, it's like I'm trying too hard. Like, if I'm really good enough, my skills will just speak for themselves. And that is kind of not true. Like, even the most skilled and talented people need to be noisy, need to be like, hey guys, look at me, look at what I can do, and put themselves out there. And there's maybe something about that you guys are afraid to do. And your thoughts are kind of holding yourself back. Or you might have a belief that I can't put myself out there, or even if I do, it's not going to work. And I feel like with our analytical mind, with our mercurial side, we can find ways around this. I'm also hearing where there's a will, there's a way. There's a way that you can feel comfortable and you can be able to get an idea out there or put yourself out there in the way that you want to, which is very important. Yeah, this makes me think of hiding away. This makes me think of like a fear of stepping out into the world. Now, there's something else that was coming up here, a kind of different meaning of the Seven of Swords, where I feel like a lot of us are redirecting our path. And how do I explain this well? There may have been a situation where we were receiving a lot of signs popping up, a lot of messages, a lot of dreams about something or someone, where it felt divinely guided, it felt like it was from the universe, when in fact we were actually manifesting these signs because we were just thinking about something or someone so much, because that is definitely a thing. But we don't see the whole truth of this person or thing. And once we do, I feel like we will not desire it as much anymore, or even fully be turned off from it. So just one example of this energy, because this can be applied to many different situations. Let's say I have a crush on Joe, and I keep seeing Joe's name everywhere, and I keep seeing Joe's birthday everywhere, and I keep having dreams about Joe. Maybe I think about Joe and I see 1111. And so I'm thinking, oh my God, like Joe is my twin flame. Joe is my soulmate. Like I need to be in a relationship with Joe. This is crazy. But what is actually happening is like, I'm just thinking a lot about Joe, which there's honestly nothing wrong with that. I think that seeing signs that you're thinking a lot about someone, it can be a confirmation that you really like them and you really want them. And just because the signs are generated from you, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't pursue that person. In fact, it could be a sign to pursue them. But what I think is happening here is like, we've generated a lot of signs and messages about something purely from intense focus and heavy thoughts on it. But then when we go to pursue it, we realize that it's not really what we wanted. So in this example, I'm thinking like, oh my God, Joe is the one for me. I'm seeing all these signs. So I pursue Joe. Turns out Joe is not very nice or not very honest or just not a good fit for me. And that's fine, because you never know unless you try, right? So I didn't do anything wrong. It was not a mistake for me to pay attention to those signs. It was not a mistake for me to pursue Joe. I saw the signs, I acted on it. I realized, oh, okay, I don't like this person, or this person is not a match for me. So maybe I was just thinking about them a lot. Okay, well, at least I know now, and let's move on from Joe. So I feel like something like that could be happening to you guys. And so the big change that is coming is kind of being disillusioned by something or someone that we felt very strongly drawn to. But then once we get to know them better, we realize like, oh, never mind, which is really okay. And I think that we have to allow ourselves, we have to give ourselves permission to have that experience, because like I said, you really cannot know unless you follow the signs and go for it and see what happens. And I think we put way too much pressure on ourselves, especially as intuitives, to be right about everything. You know, like, what if I'm wrong? It's like completely devastating, but you just have to go for it and see. And I think this is a case where we went for it and we saw, and it just wasn't it. And that's okay. And I think rather than saying like, oh my gosh, then what were all those signs for, and spiraling and starting to lose hope, we just, okay, I learned something here and let's keep it going. At least that's the piece of advice. Yeah, we thank Joe for the experience. in that example. And we keep going. And honestly, maybe some of you with this Wheel of Fortune, maybe there was an experience that you were meant to have there, but it just wasn't the experience that you thought. And this is something that has happened with me as well, honestly. It wasn't with a person named Joe, but it was with a person where I saw a lot of signs about them. And at the end of the day, that connection really, really helped me become more self-aware, helped me learn about my insecurities, which is super, super valuable, helped me learn about the ways in which I can become a better person, encouraged me to pursue my passion. So it did all of these lovely things for me. I didn't end up with them, but that didn't really matter. And so I feel like sometimes we need to think less about like, what does this sign mean and what is the outcome going to be? And rather just see them as flags of like, oh, pay attention to this because you will learn something here. And just go after it without being attached to an outcome. I really hope that makes sense. I'm trying my best to describe this concept, but for some of you, the universe could have very well been leading you towards something, but just for a different purpose than what you expected. You know, maybe this was not your forever person or your forever job, but there was a really, really important lesson here, a really important opportunity for growth that would then prepare you for your forever person, your forever job, whatever it might be. And there's a feeling of like, please don't lose hope or don't be upset with the universe. Like, there was a reason to be guided in this direction at one point. There was a reason for these signs. It just may have been something different than what you thought, and it may not have been like a forever situation. It feels like we're learning something and then we're saying, okay, this is not really what I thought it was, and let's move on. And changing the direction of our life. The Two of Pentacles is also about change and about managing change, handling everything on your plate. You can see this bunny here is all tied up. I think that once you... Oh, you know what I just realized? These two could be linked. So overcoming your insecurities might actually be the very thing that turns you off from what you are chasing. Your attraction to something or someone, or feeling like you need something or someone, could have been based in insecurities, or feeling like you can't get better, or feeling like there isn't something else out there for you. So once you overcome those insecurities, it's like, oh, suddenly this thing or this place or this person is less attractive to me. But that was an important lesson for me to learn. So we keep going. But there's a feeling of once you overcome your insecurities, you're becoming much more outgoing and a lot more busy and a lot more productive. Once you overcome your fears, you suddenly start working a lot more, or you become a lot busier. So there's definitely a feeling of there was some kind of self-sabotage going on for you guys, which may have masked itself as laziness or procrastination, when really it was either a fear of doing the thing or a limiting belief of there's no point in doing the thing anyway, because even if I do it, I'm not going to be successful, or no one's going to care. It's not going to lead to anything. So why bother even starting? There was something subliminally going on like that for you. Whereas once these fears and limiting beliefs are lifted, suddenly you're super motivated. Suddenly you're super energized. Suddenly you can't stop working towards something. You're like this magician manifesting finished projects and finished products in a fraction of the time that you were able to do before. It could have also been that you were so hung up on something or someone that you weren't working towards your projects and your goals in the way that you really could. For example, we're not hung up on someone anymore, so we're not like constantly thinking about them or constantly watching readings about them, and we're using this time to listen to podcasts or to take online courses or to study or to work on our novel or something of that nature. once our mind shifts away from what was distracting us or what we don't need anymore, it's like the productivity and the busyness of you just skyrockets. And you start to manifest things more quickly as well with this Magician here. And I love that we have the Four of Wands as the bottom of the deck energy, because this is really like your ultimate fulfillment, your ultimate happiness, being extremely content with what you have, feeling comfortable where you are, feeling at home, feeling like you're doing what you're meant to be doing, and like you're aligned with your calling. And I feel like a lot of you guys have been on the fence about whether you should pursue your passion or not. And very soon, in the next, some of you guys will start to see these changes in the next like 1 to 2 months, like a huge shift in your mentality where you're suddenly super focused on your passion, and you don't stand warily at the starting line, like, where is this path going to take me? But rather, I see the sign pointing me in that direction, so I'm just going to go and see what happens. You just have to start, and you'll figure it out along the way. You're embracing not knowing, you're embracing not having it all figured out, and just going for it. And that comes from the belief that you have cultivated in yourself and in the divine. And I was gonna say, in just 1 to 2 months from now, you will be like full on in your passion, doing something that you're really passionate about. And you will, if you don't know what that is yet, you will know in the next month or two. And you'll reach a place where you look back and you're like, wow, I can't believe there was a point that I was indecisive about this. I can't believe there was a point where I was like, should I pursue my passion or should I stay where I am? That's even kind of scary, that I was close to just not doing it. That I was close to choosing a different path. That I was even confused about it. Like, that's crazy. I can't believe there was a point where I wondered if I should stay or go, when all along my heart knew that it was time to go. Yeah, I feel like these two are quite related, but it's all about healing an insecurity or healing some fear, which then makes you realize the nature of your attachment to certain things so that we can let go of them. And almost as if by magic, boosts your drive and boosts your motivation. It's going to be a very busy period for you. I feel like you're going to have a lot on your plate, but you're going to be very happy about it. With the Two of Pentacles here, you guys could be juggling 2 different jobs or 2 different projects. I feel like you'll be doing one thing that like consistently brings you income, and another one that will take a bit more time to get going. But because you love it so much, it's not super important to you. That will kind of be a slower build, but there's like two projects that are happening. I'm also hearing you guys are very intelligent, and there's few that can do it like you. You have like an amazing technique or an amazing wit, or you're able to create complex, elaborate ideas or systems or structures. You have a keen eye or a keen sense that others don't have. Whatever it is that you do, like your mind is amazing. And you have this lovely balance of being connected to the divine. Like you are, in fact, channeling ideas that are otherworldly, that are from something bigger than you. But then with your intellect and your planning and your executive skills, you can practically make it a thing in the 3D world. That's awesome. Like you have that balance of technique and real world skill and that bit of soul that you can't fake. You put soul in what you do that cannot be faked and cannot be duplicated either. People can't copy you even if they tried, because no one can do it like you. Okay, so let's get some oracle cards for your final messages and advice. What else does group number 2 need to know? We have empathy. I am open to seeing both sides of a situation. We have peace. I am a being of love and I release all negative energy. And death. I'm learning that endings are merely beginnings. I feel like water sign energy is quite strong for this group. We spoke about Pisces. Death is making me think of Scorpio because of the death card in tarot. And empathy is also making me think of water signs. Many of you may have the gift of being an empath or of being clairsentient. So not only do I think you have a very strong ability to empathize with other people, but you might have the psychic gift of clairsentience, which is the ability to channel others' emotions. So, for example, someone could be not physically with you, they could be on the other side of the world, and you can pick up on their emotions as they are happening. It's like an emotional channel that connects you. That might also be something that is confusing, because I feel like it's like you might develop really strong attachments with people, but you have the gift of being able to do that with anyone. So it can get kind of confusing when you're trying to figure out who is right for you or who is the one for you, especially if you go, I don't want to like call people out, but especially if you go online and you're like, what are the signs that someone is the one? Or like, what are the signs that someone is my soulmate? And it's like the most basic things, like you had a dream about them, you saw 1111. Like that can happen. That can honestly happen with anyone for a variety of reasons, but I feel like it's exacerbated for you guys because you have this very intense gift of like being able to pick up on other people's emotions. So if you are thinking about someone a lot, like if you start to think about me a lot, for example, you may start to psychically channel my emotions, which feels very intimate, right? The camera's wanting to focus on this. It feels like something that is super intimate. So if you're having that experience, you might think like, holy shit, like I'm meant to be with this person, when it's really just that you're psychic and you're focusing your attention on something and you're picking up on its energy. If you were to then shift that attention from me to Dave, you will start to feel Dave's emotions and pick up on Dave's energy. I feel like it really has to do with where you shift your focus. And this is a gift that you could use to help many people. You could even use it in your career if you're thinking of pursuing a career where you use your psychic abilities. But I do think it's something that you have to be careful of. Maybe we don't want that turned on all the time. We don't want to be dealing with that all the time. With this as well, I'm a being of love and I release all negative energy. I feel like you guys might be susceptible, because you have a very healing energy, you might be susceptible to like leeches or vampires of your energy. You might also pick up on others because they are thinking about you so much. They have energetically attached themselves to you. So it's like not even of your own volition. And it can just get very confusing because, again, I feel like when that psychic attachment is formed, it does feel super intimate. So it's not necessarily something that can harm you, but just something that we maybe need to be aware of. We might need to set that intention of release me from any attachments that are not in my highest good, or like I don't want to be connecting to everyone when I go outside. I don't want to be picking up on everyone's energy. I want to only be connected to those who are meant for me, those who are serving my highest good, and those whose highest good I can serve in a healthy and reciprocal exchange of energy. I hope that that makes sense. Empath, I don't identify as an empath, but I do my best to explain the experience. If you're an empath, you'll probably know better than me. But yeah, it's definitely tricky. Energy can get muddled. When we're not discerning, we can start picking up on everyone, or other people can start latching onto us. So we may need to just protect ourselves a bit more. Energetic protection, just so that you don't get overwhelmed. Again, I don't think there's like a risk of you getting hurt, but you could definitely get overwhelmed and confused with all of the energies around you, and you know, other people's emotions flooding in. And it's really just about setting the intention. I feel like you guys could benefit from closing your eyes and visualizing what that would look like for you. Whether that's, you know, walls going up around you, or whether that's you being surrounded by a light that keeps darkness out. Some visualization to really solidify that for you could be beneficial. And then we have death. I'm learning that endings are merely beginnings. I also think there's a piece of advice for this group to think less about the forever and the final destination, because it doesn't really exist. We are infinite beings. Even our death in this lifetime is not the end. We will go on to the next life. So this idea of like, I just want to know what's going to happen in the end, or I just want to know if this is my forever person, place, situation. Nothing really is, and everything really is, because everything and nothing all goes on forever. It's all an illusion. The idea of getting to the end and this is it, and I'm settled now, it's an illusion. So anything that you feel drawn to is here to teach you a lesson for some time, and then it will pass on, and that is okay. That is the nature of life. So it kind of goes back to being at the starting line and just figuring it out as you take each step, or seeing a sign, and rather than stressing about where is it ultimately going to lead me, saying, oh, I know that this sign is important because it's here, so let's follow it and see what it's trying to say. Like, you will figure out what the sign is trying to tell you by acting on the sign, not just by analyzing it. Like, it's kind of like there's only one way to find out. So, oh, I also want to mention E, P, and D could be significant initials, whether that is you or someone else. E, P, and D could also be the first letters of a significant place, like a country, city, or company. Also, I saw 3344 and 3355 just now as I was finishing up your reading. But group number 2, these are all the messages I have for you. So I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you very much for letting me do this reading for you. This camera really wants to focus on empathy. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, you can find my pick a card readings on Instagram, many of which are timeless. My pick a card videos on Patreon, which are just like these, except for you get to choose the topic. You can check out my music on my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video. That was an original song. And you can also check out my latest release, linked down below. And finally, I have a vlog channel, Kino Vlogs, and merch at kinotarot.com, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. And we have that on hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, and tote bags. So all that stuff that I just mentioned is going to be linked down below for you in the description, as well as in the pinned comment of this video. Thank you so much for supporting me and for supporting my channel. It truly means a lot to me. And just thank you so much for being here. Group number 2, I'm sending lots of love to you, to your spirit guides, your whole spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi, number 3s. So if you guys chose the yellow egg and the honey calcite, this is going to be your reading. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you once again to the community on Patreon for providing this reading topic today. So we're going to start off the reading by opening up your egg. I wrote a bunch of messages out on paper, and then I picked 2 messages and placed them in your egg. And so you can think of this part of the reading as an energy check. If the messages that come out sound like something that applies to you at this time or something that you would like to hear more about, then keep watching. But if not, you might want to try listening to a different group. But then once we get the messages out, we are going to go into the tarot to elaborate further. And I have 1 tarot deck for each message. And then we're going to finish off with some oracle cards to get final messages and guidance for you. So with all that being said, let's get started and crack open your egg. For group number 3, we have You Are Worth More and 111. On the camera timer, and we have Your Intuition is on point. Okay, so these could mean quite a few different things depending on the tarot cards that come out. So let's jump right into the tarot and see how we can elaborate on these. Starting with this You Are Worth More message. There is a visual popping into my head of some sort of beetle or perhaps an ant. You could have a spirit animal that is an insect. An insect could have a message for you right now, or you may see a lot of insects as a sign. I think there's also something of you have more inner beauty than you realize, and you have more strength than you realize. But let's see what the tarot has to say about this. You are worth more. So we have the 4 of Swords, the Emperor, the Fool, and the 3 of Swords. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the High Priestess. And then we're just gonna go right ahead into the second deck, and then we'll just read everything. So what about this message? Your intuition is on point. We have the King of Coins, the 3 of Coins, the Hierophant, and the 5 of Cups. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the 10 of Coins. Very interesting. One thing that I do want to point out right away, which I'm sure you guys noticed, is that all of these cards came out very quickly. The deck was shuffling very easily. So this can mean a couple of different things. It can be an indication that the energy is picking up speed in your life. So things are starting to accelerate, that things will be happening for you without a lot of difficulty or without a lot of obstacles. Like you're entering into a phase of your life where things will just be smooth and quick and easy. It can also indicate that you are very clear right now about what you want. You're very clear on your intentions, and you're very clear on what you're manifesting. And that would make a lot of sense with your intuition is on point. Like, I feel like this is a group that knows very well what they desire and very well what is coming to them. We're probably going to see that this reading ends up being a confirmation for you. This, the way the cards behaved can also be a sign that your spirit guides are super excited to talk to you, which is very sweet. But I wanted to point out something else that is kind of interesting. At the bottom of the deck, for the You Are Worth More message, we have the High Priestess, which talks about intuition. And then at the bottom of the deck, for Your Intuition is on Point, we have the Ten of Coins, which talks about worth. So I feel like these two messages that came out for you are very much intertwined. And perhaps it is even that your intuition has been telling you that you are worth more, that there is better out there for you, or that things are bound to get better for you. With the Four of Swords here starting off, it could be for many of you that life has been quite slow and stagnant. It kind of feels like nothing is happening for you or nothing is progressing for you. But deep down, you know that you're worthy of blessings. Deep down, you know that this situation must get better. And I feel like this reading wants to confirm that to you. It could also be that some of you have been feeling quite tired, like you've been lacking energy, lacking motivation. The way this card looks, we can see the sunlight coming in. So it's almost as if this rabbit is sleeping into the day, or maybe slept in, or is maybe taking a nap, or maybe worked a really long night shift and is exhausted. There's a feeling of being tired or being drained when you feel like you shouldn't. Like, why am I so tired? Why am I so exhausted? And I think it's because you haven't been paid fairly or rewarded fairly for work that you do, or the energy is not being exchanged fairly. That's why you feel so drained. With the Emperor next to this, I feel like for many of you, it is an authority figure who has not valued you properly, or who is not compensating you fairly. So this could be a boss. It could even be a parent, but it's like an authority figure who you are working your butt off and it is still not enough for them, or they're failing to see how hard you are working. There may be someone who doesn't consider what you do a quote unquote real job. There may be someone who has zero awareness for how hard it is to get things done if you're struggling mentally, if you have a mental illness, or if you're neurodivergent. It can take extra effort to do everyday tasks or to do things that could be easier for some other people. There's like someone who doesn't have any nuance. Like they're like, if it's easy for me, it must be easy for everyone else. It could even just be society in general. That is like, why aren't you working harder? Or it's easy to be successful. It could be someone who is unaware of their privilege, who is not valuing how hard you're working or not appreciating you. Meanwhile, they're completely clueless to the fact that they have a lot of advantages and they have a lot of handouts, and it's just like not the same. And it's kind of funny that the Fool is right next to this. I don't often take the Fool word at face value, but someone might be being a little bit, honestly, foolish. I'm not saying they're a fool, but their biases are a little bit silly. It's like someone is judging you unfairly when actually you're working very, very hard. And you're not, the energy that you put out is not being reciprocated fairly at this time. And sometimes maybe you feel selfish, like for asking for more or for expecting more for what you do, but your body doesn't lie and your energy levels don't lie. So you're actually very correct to assume that you are doing your best and you are worthy of more. You deserve to be treated better. You deserve to be compensated better. Like, that is extremely accurate. And yeah, your body doesn't lie. If you are feeling drained, if you're feeling exhausted, it's because the energy exchange is off. you are putting out more energy and effort, then you are receiving energy in turn from the people around you or from the fruits of your labor. So yes, it is in order that you receive more. The balance must be restored. And I think this goes deeper than just like just rest, or just take better care of yourself. Like, you need more from the world around you, or you need more financially, or you need more support. And I think this reading really wants to validate that for you. And I'm getting kind of emotional that you or anyone else should dare to make you feel like you're asking for a lot. I feel like what you are asking for and expecting for yourself is quite basic. Like, it's a no-brainer that you should be worthy of this. And I want to tell you guys that you are worthy of great abundance with this King of Coins and with this 10 of Coins. You're worthy of support and collaboration with this 3 of Coins. And I think deep down you know this. I think, and this is actually, I'm quite relieved to see this, that deep down in your soul, you know that you're worthy of this abundance. But sometimes when people around you or when society fails to see that, you start to get in your head, right? You're like, am I wrong? Am I wrong to be wanting this abundance? Am I wrong to be asking for this? And that's normal, you know? It's normal to have these narratives get in our head, but it's important that you don't let them get you down and let them stay there. I think that many of you with this Emperor, with this King of Coins, you are destined for a high position of power. You are destined to be in some kind of leader position or some kind of boss position, whether you are just the boss of yourself and doing what you want to do, or whether you are the boss of a team. That's up to you, but I think you are meant to be free and independent and really craft a lifestyle that works for you rather than a lifestyle that works for someone else. You can do things differently if it suits you better. You can sleep in the day and work at night if that works better for you. And you'll have that freedom to kind of tailor your life to yourself. And it's been hard. I feel like with the Fool and the 3 of Swords, this group has suffered because of the ignorance of others. Whether that's just a lack of education or a lack of experience. But in some cases, it's like people are choosing to be ignorant. They could definitely educate themselves and see the reality of the situation if they wanted to, but it's like they refuse to out of pride or out of stubbornness. It makes them feel good, I guess, to say like, oh, well, I'm up in my throne, I'm in this position of authority and I could do it. So like, what's wrong with you? Or what's wrong with this generation? And it's like, they might be just choosing to stay in that energy because it boosts their ego. And it hurts. It really does. Like, I feel like in your soul, you're sitting pretty in the knowledge that you are so worthy and so beautiful. And I know that you do an amazing job of reminding yourself that. But we also have this mind and body and heart that is 3D in nature, and that can be susceptible to the energies around us and the words of others. And I just hope that you're being gentle with yourself and not being hard on yourself if you internalize negative thoughts about yourself. It happens. Man, this is a tough energy. But what you really need to know is that your intuition is on point. You are worth more. So let's go down to the bottom row of cards here. We have the King of Pentacles. I definitely think that this is you. And we have the 3 of Coins as well, which talks about, okay, this talks about collaboration, teamwork, support. I think that there's this message that, and I want to be careful with this, but it's like not all authority figures are bad. And I guess the reason I want to be careful with that is because I don't want to invalidate what you have been through. You know what I mean? Like, for example, if you are someone who had a lot of bad or harmful or scary experiences with men, it's kind of shitty to be like, well, not all men are bad, you know? Like, I know that. I'm just talking about my experience. However, it is coming up here that you will have a positive experience with someone in a high position, with someone in a position of authority. Like, that there are people in this world who have power and who have authority and are using it for good. And I think that you will be shown that. And that will maybe help you to repair your relationship with this archetype. There are some leaders who can be domineering and who can be closed-minded and who can be oppressive. And there are some leaders who can be supportive and be generous and be of service to people. And so there's something here about you meeting a teacher, a mentor, a leader of some kind who is incredibly gentle and generous, who may actually be a soulmate of yours with this Six of Cups here, who is a guide for you. I guess I want to say that the answer is not to shut down or to completely eliminate this kind of archetype from your life, but to seek out the ones that resonate with you. Another example I could give of this is like, let's say you had a run-in with some people who claim to be like spiritual gurus, but then you took their advice and it messed with you, or maybe they didn't have the best intentions. And it's like, in that moment, you might feel like you want to completely stop listening to spiritual advice or completely stop your spiritual journey. And it's kind of a natural response, right? Because your brain is like, holy shit, this path got me hurt. And so you might kind of start to resent or reject the archetype of a spiritual mentor or teacher or leader. But there's a piece of advice to recognize that in any archetype in the world, there's going to be people who embody it for good and people who embody it for bad, unfortunately. But to not throw away that experience entirely. I really hope that this is making sense, but it's like you may have had some bad experiences with people in power and authority, but it doesn't mean that you can't find good mentors and good leaders out there. And I think you definitely will. And honestly, you could very well become one yourself. With this King of Coins here, it's possible. I mean, they exist out there. Someone who will support you, but at the same time see you as an equal. They may acknowledge, I have more experience than you, I have more privilege, I have more leverage than you, but I do see you as an equal, and I can use my abundance, my wealth, my gifts, my resources to help you, not to continue oppressing you. And I think that's such a beautiful quality of the King of Coins. I see this often with the King and Queen of Coins, is that their wealth is only really wealth to them if they can share it, if they can give it. You know, they're very humble in that way. They don't come off as like, I'm better than you because I have all this wealth. They're like, look, I have all this wealth. Please let me share this with you. Let me show you how you can create your own wealth as well. Let me give you all my secrets. They're very generous like that because they understand that others winning and others coming up does not reduce their success or reduce their wealth. There's enough for everyone. That is true abundance. True abundance is knowing there is enough for everyone. These people who are at the top and hogging all of their resources and continuing to push down and oppress those who are finger quotes below them, that is not real abundance. That's coming from an idea that, oh, I need to hoard all of this and keep you guys down there so that I can keep my power. And if I give you power, then I will lose mine. That's a lack mentality. That's insecurity. This group has been through some BS, and I'm really feeling for you right now, but there is a beautiful relationship with like a mentor, whether that be like a spiritual mentor, a business coach, a teacher, an employer who is extremely generous, who believes in you. And I honestly believe that one day you will pay this forward. I see you rising to this position of abundance and leadership and status and power and success in what you do, and then paying it forward. So you're breaking this cycle and becoming a divine leader. Ooh, I love that. And even, the 10 of coins is also about legacy. The generations that come after you. This could also, I'm just realizing this could very much be about parenting. I think I briefly said that at the beginning, like this could be a parent. But yeah, this could very much be about parenting. Like we're breaking a cycle of a dynamic where, you have to listen to me because I'm the adult. You have to do this because I said so. A dynamic where like the parent is above the child or better than the child and can punish or control the child. We're breaking that cycle and moving into a style of parenting where the parent's job is to guide the child and to help the child become who they already are naturally, not to mold them into something that the parent wants them to be. And to see the child as an equal and someone that they can also learn from and become a better person from. To see the child as someone who holds wisdom, perhaps a different kind of wisdom, but just as valuable. So if you are a parent or if you're thinking of becoming a parent, I think you could be breaking this cycle. But I'm just seeing like this adult who I'm getting emotional. Like this adult who is so tired of life because it's like, no matter how hard I work or what I do, it's never good enough. It's never good enough for the man. It's never good enough for society. It's never good enough for my parents. Or someone who is like paralyzed by their potential or meeting their potential. Someone who is burnt out from the pressure. We're breaking that cycle. The legacy that you will leave behind is one of gentleness and generosity and more of like a collaborative effort, Let's build our success together. Let's build our wealth together. Let's teach each other. It's not one of hierarchy where I'm in a higher position, so like you suck and listen to what I say, but having the humbleness and self-awareness of like, I'm lucky enough to be in this position, or I was lucky enough to be able to work hard to get in this position. And so I want to make it easier for the ones who come after me, or I want to help others who are struggling to get up here with me. It's a beautiful transition. It's hard. It's a hard transition. But I think what really drives this group is that deep, deep knowing that you deserve to see this bright future. And that you want, whether it's your children or the next generation of souls, to see this brighter future. You will pay forward kindness and inner beauty to the future souls on earth. Okay, so beautiful message. Let's take a look at some zodiac signs that we have present here. We have Aries energy with the Emperor, Aquarius with the Fool, Taurus with the Hierophant, water signs with the High Priestess, so Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. We also have Scorpio again with the Six of Cups. And yeah, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna do the major arcana. But this is like, the reason I say this one is because it's like the sun in Scorpio, so it could very well be like a Scorpio person, Taurus, Aquarius, Aries person, or a water sign person could be significant. So let's get some oracle cards now. For your last messages and advice. We have change. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. I also think that this could be a message about, and it sounds kind of cheesy, but being the change that you wish to see in the world. I was even thinking with the Fool that it may be time to take a leap of faith in your life. Because, I don't know, something about this image, the way the rabbit is looking right at us and stepping off the cliff, it's almost like he's saying, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. So there may be something that, and especially with Aries energy right next to this, that you may feel is kind of impulsive or reckless. This is a very silly example, but sometimes I get a strong urge to like chop off all my hair. But I'm like, oh no, like that's reckless. I'm gonna regret it. That's so ballsy. You know, I feel like for some of you, there's something that you've been, like you have one foot about to jump off the cliff and you're like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. But then you're like, oh no, I couldn't do something so impulsive. I couldn't do something so risky. But the Fool can talk about a completely fresh start and taking a leap of faith. And this card could be appearing to say, if you want your life to change, you should start by changing something yourself. The easiest way to assure that change will come is if you change, which sounds silly, but it's true. Also, just looking at the word movement, exercise, physical activity could be an effective way for this group to release trapped emotions from your body. Breath work as well, if exercise is not your thing. We also have adversity. I accept that challenges are the best way to learn. I think one day, and I just want to be careful. Like, I feel like it sounds douchey when I say this, but I do think that there will come a day where at least you can accept what you have been through. In some cases, you may even be grateful, not grateful for what someone did to you, but grateful to yourself for how you chose to learn from that situation and how you chose to grow. Because we can take any adverse situation and use it as a catalyst for our own growth and our own betterment. So I think it's less about saying like, oh, I'm grateful to that person for hurting me. Like, I'm glad they did that. But it's more like, I'm grateful that I chose to use this as a catalyst, and I'm grateful for what I learned, and I'm grateful for how I changed and I became better. I don't know about the person who hurt me, but I know I became better, and I'm grateful for that. Okay, one last card for our number 3s. We have guilt. I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. Yes, it is very important to this group to release guilt, especially guilt surrounding like, am I doing enough? Why am I not doing enough? Why am I not doing more? Why am I so tired? Why is it so difficult for me to do this? Any guilt associated with how much you are doing, or how much energy you have, or how productive you are, or taking the blame for others' mistreatment of you. Like, no, we are not going to carry that guilt. That is not for us to carry. I was just idly shuffling, which I do when I'm talking sometimes, and this also came out, perseverance. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. I think you're really going to surprise yourself in the future with the things that you accomplish. I'm hearing like, give yourself a year. Give yourself time. Give yourself a year. Things will be much easier for you. Yeah. Don't rush yourself. And finally, let's take a look at the letters on these cards as they could be significant. We have C, A, G, and P. So C, A, G, P, one or several of these could be someone's initial, whether that is you or someone else, or they could be the letter of a significant place, like a country, a city, or a company. But these are all the messages I'm seeing for you guys. So I'm going to end your reading here. Group number 3, thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself. Stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, you can find my pick a card readings on Instagram, many of which are timeless. You can find my pick a card videos on Patreon, which are just like these ones, except for you get to choose the topic. You can check out my music on my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video that was an original song. And you can also check out my latest release linked down below. And finally, we have a vlog channel, Kino Vlogs, and merch at kinotarot.com, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video, and we have that on hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, and tote bags. So all of that stuff that I just mentioned is going to be linked down below for you in the description, as well as in the pinned comment of this video. I'm having a strong visual of like a blue candle, like a long blue candle. That's funny. I had a visual at the beginning of this video as well, so it's quite likely that this group is clairvoyant. And I'm not super knowledgeable on witchcraft or spells or things of that nature, at least like the prescribed ways of doing things. But I do know that you can use different color candles to set different intentions. So if you use candles for manifesting, maybe you already know what a blue candle represents, but that may be something that you want to look into. A blue candle could be beneficial for you. And it's specifically like a candlestick that I'm seeing, like one of those long ones. Yeah. Anyway, I don't even remember where I was at in the intro, but everything is linked down below. Thank you very much for supporting me and for supporting my channel. It truly means a lot to me, and just thank you so much for being here. Group number 3, I am sending you lots of love, much love to your spirit guides, your higher self, and your 3D self. You're both beautiful, and your whole spiritual team and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi number 4s, so if you guys chose the purple egg and the fluorite, this is going to be a reading. Thank you so much for being here, and once again, thank you so much to the community on Patreon for providing us with this reading topic. So we're going to start off by cracking open your egg. I wrote a ton of messages down on paper, and then I picked out 2 without looking, placed them into your egg. So you can think of this egg part as an energy check. If the messages that come out sound like something that applies to you or something that you would like to hear more about, then keep watching. But if not, you might want to try listening to a different group. But once we get out those messages, we are going to get into the tarot, and we have 2 different decks. We're going to be using one for each message, and then we will finish off with oracle cards as your final messages and advice. So let's get right into it, starting with your egg. My group number 4s, we have You Are Amazing, oh, and we have Someone is Dreaming About You. Very interesting. My intention for this You Are Amazing card was that there is some quality about yourself that maybe you don't see, but others do see. Or there's a quality in you that you're kind of underestimating, and your guides want to hype you up a bit. That was what I had in mind when I wrote that message for you. So, okay. I'm like precariously balancing the half eggshells. Okay, let's get into the tarot. Starting off with this You Are Amazing message. What is so amazing about group number 4? What is the hidden amazingness of group number 4 that wants to be revealed? We have the King of Wands, the Ace of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and the Ace of Pentacles. Oh, that's kind of cool. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Moon. And we're just gonna go right into the next deck. And let's pull some messages for this Someone is Dreaming About You. Okay, we have the Six of Swords, the Ace of Cups. It's funny how they came out in the exact same place too. The Knave of Wands, which is the Page of Wands. Whoa. Ace of Coins. Are you seeing this? We have like 2 Ace of Cups lining up and 2 Ace of Pentacles lining up. I knew there's a reason I wanted to use 2 different decks today. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Cups. Oh my gosh. Okay. Where do we start? Let's start up here with this You Are Amazing message. What I think is so cool is that we have a king and a queen coming out. So right away, I see that this group is excellent at balancing their masculine and feminine energies. For some of you, this might be something that comes naturally to you. For others of you, you maybe have put a lot of work into creating a healthy relationship between your masculine and feminine side and really learning how to use both to serve you as you navigate this life. Whatever the case might be, I think this is something that is very impressive. Your guides are very proud of you for mastering this. And honestly, if it comes naturally to you in this lifetime, it's probably because you put a lot of work into it in previous lifetimes. So your guides are very proud of you for this, and they're saying this is going to take you very far. I'm being shown the Chariot card, where there are there's like a black creature and a white creature, and they're pulling the Chariot forward. That card is all about balance, and the reason the Chariot can move forward is because both creatures, though they may be different, are moving in the same direction. So I feel like you have your masculine side and your feminine side, and they are quite different from each other. Like, we literally have fire and water here. Could not be more opposite, but they are compatible with each other. They love each other, which might sound kind of strange, but it's like two aspects of you that are looking out for each other and in harmony with each other and have each other's best interests at heart. And so you can move forward. You can be propelled forward in this life with both of those sides of you really working together in a lovely way. And also, I see that you have Ace of Cups and Ace of Pentacles. So Cups has to do with the more emotional side of life, the more abstract side of life, whereas Pentacles has to do with the practical and physical and tangible side of life. So this also tells me that you guys have a very good relationship between your emotions and your logic, or this is something that you're working on. And you're very good at balancing spirituality and practicality. So what I can really say about this group is that I think you put in a lot of work into balancing your energies and making sure that all of your energies are working for you. And even here, like this bottom of the deck energy is the number 18, which reduces to 9. And the number 9 makes me think of well-roundedness and balance. I think it's like you're really using your full potential. You've really self-actualized yourself, I think is the word. With the King of Wands here, and actually with the Moon as well, I do believe you guys are also extremely, and yeah, even these Cups cards, you guys are extremely creatively talented. There's something very unique about the way you create, or something unique about the work that you do. And I'm seeing that from the work you do in this life, you can derive both happiness and emotional fulfillment as well as financial gain. You will not have to sacrifice one for the other. And this could also be something that you're very, very good at balancing out. When you're a creator, or honestly, I think this can apply with any kind of work. We have to find that balance between what we want to do and what fulfills us, and I guess what the clients expect of us or what sells. And I feel like you just strike that balance very well, where you never really feel like you are compromising one for the other. Or your guides are promising to you that you will not have to do that. And I just noticed these little doves are bringing coins to the rabbit while the rabbit is just basking in his cup. So it's like, if you bask in your joy, if you just create from joy, the money will literally find its way to you. The material blessings will just fly towards you. And even here, the rabbit's like, money is flying at you. Let me bring this to group number 4. So always follow your joy, always follow what you love, and the rest will come naturally. Yes, extremely creatively talented. There is a free spirit element to you, I think, that is lovely. I don't think you're the type to... okay. You have the ability of relating to others and feeling what others feel without getting absorbed by them, if that makes sense. I feel like you have that quality of Piscean energy where you are connected to the collective subconscious, and you do understand, really have a deep understanding of oneness in the universe. I think you're able to empathize and relate to pretty much anyone, but you're not impressionable. You're not easily influenced. And that takes an amazing an amazing level of mastery. That you're able to put those walls down to be intimate with others and to relate to others, but at the same time you're protected and you don't get sucked in and you still maintain your sense of self. Like, the level of spiritual skill that takes is, I'm like kind of baffled that you have mastered this, because I think a lot of humans struggle with that. This is definitely, we're looking at a group of highly evolved souls. Doves could be an important spirit animal for this group, as well as pigeons and any kind of crustacean, like a lobster or a crab or any kind of shell, like something with a seashell. Yeah, extremely creatively talented, independent. And, adaptability, I was going to say as well. I feel like whatever situation you got thrown in, you can make the best of it. Wherever life plants you, that's where you will grow and flower and bear fruit. Because the power is within you. It's not from where you are existing or when you are existing or what is around you. I feel like you generate this life force, you generate this power, you generate this good luck, this genius from within you, and you can thrive in a number of different circumstances, in a number of different roles, professions. It's whatever you want to do. You're an extremely powerful being. I think you're also very generous. Generous without giving at your own expense. And you definitely are very supported, both here on earth as well as divine support. So let's talk about this. Someone is dreaming about you. I just think it's so cool that we have these aces matching up in the exact same place. This could be an indication that, first of all, I think this is someone you're also dreaming about, but that you would actually have the same dreams at the same time. If these two cards came out anywhere in this spread, that's already amazing. And I would think, you're probably having the same dreams about each other. But the fact that they lined up like this, it's really giving me the feeling that you are actually meeting this person in the astral and having an experience with them. It's happening at the same time. Or I should say on the same day, because I'm hearing some of you don't sleep at the same times. Some of you are physically separated where you're sleeping when they're awake and vice versa. But you are having the same dreams about each other. You are having dreams of the same nature. You may see similar symbols in your dreams, and you also wake up with the same feeling. I do believe that these dreams are positive, or you feel positively about this person after dreaming about them, because the Ace of Cups overflowing, it is a very joyful energy. And this is someone who you deeply care about, or someone who deeply cares about you. With the Six of Cups here, this can be an indication of a soulmate relationship, but someone that you feel very drawn to, someone that feels quite familiar to you. And it's highly likely that there is some kind of past life connection here. My hands feel very, very warm right now. You could dream about holding hands with this person, or joining hands with this person, or their higher self might communicate to you through physical sensation. So you might feel energetic hugs from them. You might feel tingles or warmth when they are around. I'm also noticing the envelope on this person's hand. So, they communicate to you through hands, or sensation of a hand. This could also be a sign that they are communicating to you through your dreams. So the things that they say to you in your dreams are meaningful. You know, it's not like random dream chatter. You might also communicate to them in their dreams. You can set the intention to do that as well if it's not something you're consciously doing. But yeah, I think some of you with the Six of Swords, you could be at a physical distance from this person. There could be a body of water separating you, like a different continent. This could be someone you either haven't met yet in the 3D or that you don't see very often in the 3D. Some of you maybe have moved away from this connection, but I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing. Like, it might have been something that was mutually decided, or that you just felt like it was for the best. Or it could also be one of those situations where, you know, when you really care about someone, but just like life happens and you drift apart. It could be something like that as well. But there is a bit of a feeling of distance. But there's also a feeling of absence has really made the heart grow fonder. I think this person not only dreams about you, but thinks about you a lot in their waking life. And I think you probably do the same. I think that you guys serve as some sort of like motivation for each other or inspiration for each other. You push each other to keep going and to reach your full potential. It does look like a very positive connection. The way this person sees it, because they are coming through as a page, you're coming through as a king. I think this is kind of their perception, you know? Okay, I see. This is someone who, they are confident and strong in their masculine energy, but they really look up to you because of this amazing balance that you have. I feel like this person, I mean, everyone has a masculine and feminine side, but I feel like this person has yet to really explore the feminine side of them. Not that they're averse to it. It's just maybe they haven't really had the opportunity, or it just didn't really occur to them that, you know, this side of them existed that they could develop. But I think you really inspire them to look more into their feminine side, to look more into their spiritual side, their intuitive side. I think this person is very much a go-getter. They're an action taker, but I don't know how to say this. Like, maybe they haven't really mastered co-creating with the universe or allowing the universe to work for them. They kind of have this idea of, I have to do it all by myself, or I'll do it all by myself because I can. And they haven't really harnessed the massive power of the universe. And so maybe they haven't like grown or evolved as much as they could. I don't see this as a bad thing though. Like, I see them very excited and enthusiastic about exploring this other aspect of them and exploring their connection to the divine. You might actually teach them a lot about their divinity through your exchanges in dreams or your exchanges in the waking world. If you are in communication with this person, although I don't think all of you are, at least in the 3D, I should say. I think in the 3D, this person, just the way they're looking away from the cup and toward the coin, they maybe until now have put more importance on material pursuits or just favored a more practical approach to life over an emotional or spiritual one. But again, it's not coming through as an aversion that they had to the spiritual side of life, but more so like, damn, it didn't even really occur to me that I could explore this side, or that like this was a thing. Because I feel like once they do start to understand their connection with the divine, it will be something that's quite exciting for them. The Page of Wands is like someone who's excitedly embarking on a new journey and excited to see what their potential holds, and they still might be a little bit immature and inexperienced, but like they're full of hope. So yeah, I think you helped activate a new side of this person or introduce a new side of them to themselves, if that makes sense. I also think that, like, if you see signs, they're seeing the same signs, you know, like doves, for example. If you were always seeing doves, then they're seeing doves too. If you always see butterflies, they see butterflies too. I don't know if they realize that that is linked to you, but it's just kind of cool to know that they experience the same signs. I think the nature of your dreams is coming together. I think there's some sort of physical exchange that you guys have, whether it's just, you know, holding hands or maybe like walking arm in arm. I see you like next to each other, maybe leaning on each other. It could be further physical contact than that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what kind of connection this is, but I feel like you are physically touching in some way. You give, it's like there's a place where you meet to give each other energy so that you can keep going in your waking life. And you give each other advice when it's hard to do so in the waking world. You go to give each other advice because it's like when you speak to each other in your dreams, it gets into your subconscious better. You'll wake up with that message lingering or that feeling lingering. So I think your souls have kind of found it an effective way to communicate. The way that you feel each other and the way that you communicate in dreams might be very familiar to you because it's how you experienced it in a previous lifetime. And I think what your guides are getting at with that message is that in a previous lifetime, you may not have had physical forms. So it was just easier to communicate. You know how dreams feel kind of dreamy? They feel kind of abstract. They feel kind of not physical, because they're not. I feel like your previous life was not really physical. You were maybe beings of light, like you didn't have a physical body. You communicated telepathically. That's kind of how you're used to engaging with each other. You know when like, when you're texting someone and you're like, oh, like this is annoying, I'm just gonna send them a voice note. It's like when you guys are in the 3D, you're like, oh, like fuck this 3D shit, I'm just gonna tell you in a dream. Because it's like, it's easier, it's what you're used to, it's more similar to the way of being that you were in previous lifetimes together. Peacocks could also be a significant spirit animal for this group. This is someone you're very familiar with on a soul level. This is a soulmate. Someone who is probably creative in similar ways to you, because I see there's like a mutual inspiration, and someone who I think at one point will extend a long-term offer to you in the 3D, like to collaborate with you on something, or to be in a partnership with you. Last one, I think roses could be significant for you guys as well. And this person is quite sensitive too. I think they're more sensitive and soft than they let on, or that is like, obvious. It's not super obvious from the outside. This person could have tattoos. Like we see this person has some tattoos here. Just looking at like the hairstyle, hair and eye color could be relevant. Yeah, very interesting. So, is there anything else that these cards want to tell you? It's funny, like it might not surprise you that, this person kind of sees you as above them in some way. Not in an intimidating way, but just that you're like more advanced than them, or you just get it. You just get life more than they do. This person, it's either that or they could be older than you, but feel like you've got it more figured out than when they were your age. But I think you'll definitely, like, if you know this person in the 3D, or if you can see them in the 3D in some capacity, I think you'll start to notice let me see. You'll start to notice in the coming months that their soft and sensitive side is more visible. Like they're starting to confidently show that side more, thanks to your guidance in the 5D. Very interesting. So to finish off this reading, we're going to take a few oracle cards from this deck. I just saw 2525, which could be a relevant number. It's personally one that I see a lot, like 2s and 5s together. Okay, what else does group number 4 need to know? We have worry. I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. Okay, I'm going to take these two together. We have envy and forgiveness. I am the same as everybody, but with different challenges. And I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. And then let's get one more. Pride. I love myself and I see myself in everyone. It's interesting that we have this message of seeing yourself in everyone, and also I am the same as everybody. And we were speaking about you guys really understanding the concept of oneness. There may have been times in your past, or you may still catch yourself doing this sometimes, where you might compare yourself to others or feel like your path should look more like someone else's. Which I think you know deep down is not the case, but every now and then I think we just need a little reminder of that. Your path is perfect for you, and you are doing a perfect job at being you, and there is nothing else you need to do or no one else that you need to be. And everyone is worthy of love, and that includes you. You might sometimes fall into this, what do you call it? Contradiction, where you're saying everyone is deserving of love and everyone is beautiful and everyone is amazing. And then there's this part of you that's like, yeah, like, except for me. And I think a lot of us kind of struggle with that, where it's like we treat everyone else with such compassion and we're like loving and supportive towards them, but our brain's like, yeah, but like not me though, obviously. Include yourself in that love and compassion that you give to everyone else, because you are a person just like all of them. So all of those things apply to you as well. You are amazing, you are beautiful, you are worthy of love. You are doing a perfect job of being yourself. There's also a message that if you've been mistreated by someone, especially a friend, it's highly likely that they were envious of you. And that is definitely not an excuse. I don't think we should be ashamed of feeling envious. I think, that's kind of a part of being human. I'm sure everyone has felt envious of someone at some point. But you can be envious of someone and still be kind to them and not let that feeling get the best of you. And you can recognize that this kind of negative feeling of envy is coming from within me, and I should work on that so I can feel better. But I think someone in your life did not do that. They let their envy get the best of them, and they let it be a reason to mistreat you. They might have not even realized that it was because they envied you. They might have actually been oblivious to that. Maybe their ego was protecting them from that truth, because I think sometimes admitting like, oh, I don't like this person, or I feel resentment towards this person because I'm jealous of them in some way, this can kind of hurt our ego to admit that. But whatever the case might be, they either ignored or didn't see the fact that they were envious. And I think someone let that, make them treat you not great. I'm having a hard time with my words because Mercury's in retrograde, so please forgive me. But yeah, I think you can acknowledge that it wasn't right for them to treat you that way, but at the same time forgive them, because like envy's a bitch, man. It's hard. It's hard dealing with those feelings and dealing with feelings of insecurity. So, and I think just forgiving them will help you move on and help you have peace of mind. Like, it's not okay what you said or did to me, but I understand that you were a human dealing with envy, and that's very difficult. And maybe you didn't realize that that's what was going on. But yeah, someone was envious of you, and it's like they maybe accused you of something, or were lying about you, or just like saying bad things about you, or not being supportive, because you rising so high maybe like made them uncomfortable. And maybe that experience made you like afraid to be proud of yourself, or afraid to show your accomplishments and show how far you've come. But the right people will love to see you shine. You know who loves to see you shine? This person who's dreaming about you, I must say. Yeah, I think there's people you need to forgive, because like I honestly feel like they didn't realize what they were doing. Like, they're so unaware of their shadow. We can almost kind of feel bad for them. Like, again, I'm not saying it's okay how they treated you, but like, if you're letting your shadows control you and having you act out like that, and you don't even realize that you're not doing yourself any good, and you're also damaging your relationships, like, I kind of, I sound like a douche to say I pity them, but I kind of do. And then finally we have, I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. And when I first saw this card, I actually thought that this is a message from your person, from your soulmate who is dreaming about you. I think they really want you to not worry. Worry can be productive if it is something that you can change. If you use that feeling of worry to, spring yourself into action and change something to prevent a negative outcome from happening, then that can be productive. But a lot of the time we worry about things that are completely out of our control, and we start spiraling like this image, and it is very unhelpful. So try your best. I know it's hard, but try your best not to worry about the things that you cannot control. Someone once told me, even if the bad thing does happen, you still shouldn't worry, because even if it does happen, at least you spent all the time leading up to that bad thing being happy. If it's going to happen anyway, you might as well spend the time leading up to it not worrying so that you can be happy than worrying about it. And especially if it never does end up happening, then you just wasted all that time worrying. And I think about that a lot. Like, okay, the bad thing might happen, so let's just see what happens when we get there. And for now, I'm going to be happy. Like, we will cross that bridge when we get there, because there's nothing we can really do until we get to the bridge anyway. So I'm just going to keep having fun. I'm just going to keep being carefree. Okay, and then finally, we have W, E, F, and P, which could be significant initials. Someone could have these letters in their names, whether that's you or someone else. W, E, F, P. Could also be letters in a significant place, like a country, city, or a company. Also, the EFP is making me think of the 16 personality type. Someone could be like an ENFP or an ESFP. But I think those are all the messages for my number 4s. So I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, you can find my pick a card readings on Instagram, many of which are timeless. You can find my pick a card videos on Patreon, which are just like these ones and also timeless, except for you get to choose the topic. You can check out my music on my music channel, including the intro song of this video that is an original song. And you can also check out my latest release linked down below. And finally, I have a vlog channel, Kino Vlogs, and merch at kinotarot.com, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video, and we have that on hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, and tote bags. So all that stuff that I just mentioned is going to be linked down below for you in the description, as well as in the pinned comment of this video. Thank you so much for supporting me and for supporting my channel. It really means so much to me, and just thank you so much for being here. Group number 4s, I'm sending lots of love to you, to your lovely soulmate, to your spirit guides, your whole spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Hi, number 5s. So if you guys chose the blue egg and the hemimorphite, this is going to be your reading. Thank you so much for being here. And once again, thank you so much to the community on Patreon for providing this reading topic. So we're going to start off the reading by opening up your egg. I wrote a ton of different messages on paper, and then I picked 2 messages without looking and popped them into your egg. And you can think of this part of the reading as an energy check. So if the messages that come out of here do sound like something that would apply to you or something you would like to hear more about, then keep watching. But if not, you might want to try listening to a different reading. But once we get to the egg messages, then we're going to move on to the tarot, and we're going to be using a different deck for each message. And then at the very end of the reading, we will pull a few oracle cards for your final messages and advice. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So group number 5 in your egg, we have someone is guiding you. And hidden feelings. So my intention when I was writing this someone is guiding you card is that there is a spirit guide of yours who would like to make themselves known to you at this time. Because this is like a hidden truth, hidden message type of reading, my intention for this was for this card to come out if there is a new spirit guide coming your way, or a spirit guide that you have not become acquainted with yet, someone in the spirit realm who would like to work with you, and they are kind of introducing themselves or making themselves known in this reading. So this is kind of an exciting one to pop up for you guys. And then with hidden feelings, this could be someone else is hiding their feelings towards you, or there are even feelings within yourself that are hidden or suppressed right now and they want to come out. So we're going to dive deeper with the tarot to see what these messages are all about. But if this does sound like it could apply to you and you would like to know more, then keep watching. We're going to start with this deck for the someone is guiding you message. I don't know if you guys could hear that. It was even pretty faint for me, but my downstairs neighbor has a dog and he was just barking. There could be a spirit who is watching over you, and dogs could bark when this spirit is around. Or the spirit could even be a dog, or was a dog when they were incarnated with you, I should say. Who is this someone who is guiding group number 5? We have the Two of Swords, the Six of Cups, we have the Page of Swords and the Four of Wands, which came out together. The Three of Swords, and then at the back of the deck, we had this, which is like the title of the deck, but underneath that we have the Tower. I'm gonna leave this here just in case it's relevant, but yeah. And then let's get into the other deck for your hidden feelings message. We have the Eight of Coins, the Eight of Cups, the Four of Coins, and the Emperor. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Four of Wands. Interesting. So the Four of Wands is coming out twice. This is a very happy card, so it's a good card to come out repeatedly. So definitely the person who is guiding over you loves you very much. You make them very happy, and they are guiding you to your happiness. That is like their greatest joy. That is their mission, for you to be happy. And then the fact that we also have it coming out for this message, I feel like once you allow these feelings to be seen, once they stop being hidden, they will be the key to your happiness. Addressing or acting on these hidden feelings will make you happy. But for whatever reason, it's like your ego has... It's so funny. I just got the analogy of like, you know, when sometimes your bank flags a transaction that was definitely you and that is definitely not suspicious activity. It's like you have these emotions that are very normal, but your ego flagged it and was like, if we look at this emotion or act on this emotion, it's going to disrupt the peace in my life. It's going to threaten my security. So let's just flag it. This is bad and let's just hide it over here. When that is actually incorrect. You might have an ego that is hyper vigilant, that is just really trying to protect you. Not a bad thing at all, but sometimes it can make errors like this where it thinks that addressing this feeling would be dangerous because it would bring unpredictable change into our life. But actually, if you could use this feeling as the key to your greatest joy. Interesting. We will get into that in a second. That was a funny analogy, but anyway. Up here with the person who is guiding you, this definitely feels like family to me. There's this strong feeling of children, or like a child relationship coming up here with the Six of Cups, as well as the Page. The Page is making me think of children as well. For some of you, this could be... For some of you, if you have a relative who is not actually your parent, but they basically were your parent, I feel like this is definitely them coming through. So for example, maybe you have an aunt or uncle or grandparent or an older sibling who basically raised you and they're on the other side. This could also be a loved one who passed on when you were still a child. So you have nostalgic childhood memories of them. For others of you, the person guiding over you could actually be a child. It could be a child of yours who is not born yet, In some cases, it could be a child who has crossed over to the other side, but there is something about childhood or a child that is coming up here. And I do believe that this is a family member or an ancestor who is guiding you at this time. They would like to make themselves known to you. This could be someone that, like, for example, I lost a grandparent when I was 3, so I don't have a lot of memories of him. It could be something like that where you have a vague memory of them being around, but you didn't really get to know them because you were still quite little. And so maybe you wonder if they would be watching over you, and they definitely are. It's like their human self would wonder if you remember them or wonder how you look back on your time together. Of course, in their spirit form, they know that you remember them and they know that you look back fondly. But it's like if they were still a human, they might wonder that. I hope that that makes sense. It could also be an ancestor that you didn't get a chance to meet, but you heard stories about them. And they want you to know that they are still around, and it will be their greatest joy to help you find your happiness. With the Tower card here, I actually don't think it was a mistake that this card came out. I do feel like this is, yeah, of course, this is someone who was an incarnate human at some point on Earth in your family, and the way they crossed over might have been quite shocking or unexpected. As you can see from this Tower card, it just may have happened quite abruptly. But I feel like this is them in the spirit world, completely unscathed, completely unharmed, completely pure. So they may be coming through to let you know that they're very much okay. I have read before that if humans are leaving Earth in a particularly painful way, oftentimes the soul will exit beforehand as to not go through the most like painful or suffering bits of that. I think they want you to know that they don't carry with them any suffering or trauma, that they are very much at peace. They are very happy. They're still very much around you. They're very close to you. I'm hearing like you could actually feel them inside of your heart. Like that's how close they are to you. You could hear them speaking to you from in your heart. You may feel lonely, you may feel sad, but they are literally right inside your heart. And I do think they feel sad with you if you're ever feeling sad. They join you in that feeling, but they're happy to still be with you. They're happy to watch you grow. And they want you to know that they are very much peaceful. Like they don't feel pain. They don't feel any of this Tower energy anymore. They could appear when you are at forks in the road, when you're struggling to make a decision, when you feel disempowered in life, when you fear of making the wrong choice, when you fear of being on the wrong path. They show up to help you and to restore your faith in your own guidance. They help to remind you that you will pick the path that is best for you. It could also be that they're with you right now, particularly to help you with a tough decision that you are currently facing. It's like you can seek them out in moments of indecision. And it's funny because they're using indecision and disempowerment synonymously, or like in the same context, because I guess when you're debating over a decision, ultimately you're doubting your ability to make the right choice for yourself. You're forgetting your power, and you're handing your power over to this hypothetical higher power that would reward you for choosing one path and punish you for choosing another. You feel like, oh, I'm at the mercy of this higher power that can make me happy or unhappy based on the choice that I make. When you are in your power, you know that you're going to turn any choice you make into gold. Whether you turn that into a blessing or turn it into a lesson, it's all going to build you up. It's all going to serve you in some way. So they help you to feel empowered again. So you might feel them more strongly when you're like debating on a choice, like struggling with which path to take. Or it could be that right now you're struggling with something like that, and that's why they're here. They want to help you make this decision. I feel like, and this might sound kind of scary, but with the Page of Swords talking about communication, and I think this rabbit's probably kissing them on the cheek, but it kind of looks like the rabbit is whispering in their ear. So you could actually hear this person whispering in your ear or hear their voice in your dream. But I feel like they communicate to you in a kind of subtle way. Their voice is small as this Page of Swords. Small but clear. They don't need to yell or do drastic things to make themselves clear. And in fact, if you're waiting for a sign from this person and you feel like they're not communicating to you, it may be because you're waiting for some, huge sign, like, I don't know, something falling off a shelf or like a big noise outside or a really, really vivid dream. But I feel like they communicate to you in more subtle ways. And it's because you'll hear them when you slow down and when you tune into your heart. You'll hear them when you're at peace, maybe even when you're not thinking about receiving a message, and then they'll just pop in. They're like a little chipmunk or like a small bird that you can't make any sudden movements. You have to be quiet, and then you can see their beauty. This is maybe someone who was shy when they were incarnate. And maybe it is a child, like they have a soft little voice. For some of you, it is giving me the feeling of someone who has crossed over, but it could very well be like a child who has yet to come into your life. But I'm seeing them as quite cute, honestly. And, not too overbearing, kind of soft-spoken, but very smart and very wise. So now down here with your hidden feelings. These are feelings that if you address, they will bring you great happiness, but for some reason your ego doesn't want to address them. With the number 8s here, I think it does have to do with your success and with the way you create wealth for yourself. I think it is something career related or like something related to your calling in life. And I can't speak for you guys, right? I can only just read what is here, but it kind of looks like some of you maybe are not super happy with what you're doing right now, or with the approach that you're taking. It could be that you are doing something that you like, but the way that you're doing it, your schedule, your approach, maybe even the people you're doing it with, could have in some ways sucked the joy out of it for you. With the 8 of Coins, it seems that you guys are hard at work. Could even resonate with like workaholic, or just being a very hard worker. You're very consistent. You're in the grind, you're in your routine. And I think that kind of distracts you from the underlying emotions. They're hidden because you are very good at distracting yourself from them, whether that is a conscious, well, it's probably unconscious because it's hidden. You're good at distracting yourself from these feelings. The feeling is that I'm not super happy with this anymore. I want to do something different, or I want to do what I'm doing now, but in a different way, in a different place, with different people. I want to take my power back. The example that is coming to my mind is, let's say you are a musician and you love music, but once you started to like sell and become successful, maybe this person got caught up in, making hits for the radio, or making songs that can, become a TikTok dance, which there's nothing wrong with those things. But when that becomes the focus, when that becomes your main goal, you can lose sight of why you started or what you really like. And so maybe this person's creative style or genre started to change because it sort of became a business. It became like a machine that they had to pump music out. And so this person might be thinking, I don't really like this anymore. I don't want to do music anymore. Or I want to take my power back and do it my way again. I want to do it like it became too much of a job, so to speak. The pressure of making money, or the pressure of appealing to people, or the pressure of staying consistent, or the pressure of staying relevant, or the pressure of the competition, it kind of took the joy or the soul out of it. But there's some part of you that's like, oh, come on, like keep going, we're doing well. There's a lot of security here. There's a lot of stability. There's predictability, which we like. That makes us feel safe. Others of you, it could be just the whole path that we want to throw away. Like, I don't even want to do this, be in this job, or I don't even want to be in this industry anymore. And that's okay. People do all kinds of jobs in their life, and people change their mind. And I was just talking about this in a different group, like to kind of take our focus away from finding our forever path and kind of realize that no path is a forever path, because we are infinite. We're not going to do anything infinitely, though, if that makes sense. Like, you're going to have a next life and a next life and a next life, and you're going to do a million different things from now on. Nothing is really permanent. But the human idea of, I need to have it all figured out, I think it makes us forget that we're limitless and immortal, and we will change identities and change paths thousands and thousands more times. That's how we grow. Like, it's okay to change your mind. I also think we start, like, when we get passionate about something, we start really like tying our identity to it. So if we change paths, we kind of have a whole like ego death, or that's probably not the right word, identity death. Like, who am I? Who am I outside of this thing that I do, that I've tied my livelihood to, my worth to, my connections to? There's some reason that your ego is holding on to it, and it has to do with stability and security. Security of money, security of reputation, security of like your identity, like we spoke about, security of your location. There's something about it that makes you feel safe. And so when that emotion bubbles up, like, hey, maybe I don't want to do this anymore, maybe I want to do something else, your ego's like, shh, we're safe here. What are you talking about? It's like that kind of feeling. But addressing these feelings will bring you great happiness. They will align you with your next calling. And I want to emphasize your next calling, because it's not like what you're doing now, you're not meant to do that. And the new path is what you're meant to do. You're meant to have both experiences. And it's just time for a new cycle, you know? Number 8 makes me think of cycles as well, and like how we just infinitely go around again and again. It's just time for something new. The Eight of Cups, we often see that the cups are empty. They're not fulfilling us anymore, and we just need something more meaningful. You know, I think it's kind of like watching the same movie over and over again. Like, let's watch a different movie now. Let's watch the sequel. Let's go on to the next story. This is what will truly make you happy, to address these feelings. And I know it's scary, like walking away, starting a new path. It can be quite scary, but holding on to security and stability and things staying the same, it will slowly eat away at you. I'm sorry, that sounds threatening, but like it will just slowly crush your soul. I think your soul didn't come here to play it safe. And wow, I'm just thinking about this Emperor. Like, on one hand, he's the leader, he's the boss, he's in charge of his own life. He makes empowered decisions, he's independent. But he also has that element of the number 4, which is like grounded and stable and not budging. So I feel like there is that pull in you. There's that, maybe that's what this Two of Swords is about, like this indecision. But even that indecision is uncomfortable. So let's just ignore that for now. It's like we're sweeping things under the rug because it's not practical. And these feelings want not only to be known, but I think they want to be acted upon. I think they do. I think this will make you happy, and your loved one is saying this will make you happy. And you really won't be, you're always going to be safe because you're always in the arms of this spirit guide. You're always in the arms of the universe. There might be a feeling in the 3D of being in an unstable situation, but you never really are because your spiritual team is always with you. So let's get some oracle cards for this group now. I want to mention we have Aries energy here, Aries Sun, Aries Venus as well. We have a Capricorn Sun, a Virgo Sun, a Scorpio Sun. We also have a Libra Moon here. Oh, and this is Saturn in Pisces, which if you're watching this in 2023, or pretty much, yeah, because Saturn's going to be in Pisces for a long ass time, from 2023 to 2026. So the next 3 years, whenever you're watching this, could be like a significant time of change. Okay, what final messages and advice do we have for group number 5s? We have balance. I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. It's funny too, like we have the 8 of Coins and the 8 of Cups, which is like the practical aspect of things and the emotional aspect of things. And then we have like the balance between green and blue, which I'm thinking green is like the practical element, blue is like the emotional element. And if there's a feeling that is trying to get your attention for change, it means that something is out of balance. And your job as a friend to yourself is to listen to those feelings without judgment. yeah, the same way, like when there's pain or discomfort in your body, like something needs your attention, something is not right. And it's the same thing when you have a lingering feeling. You may have to dig a little bit deep to figure out why it's there. It might not be exactly the reason you think it is, but it is there for a reason. When you don't act on a feeling, you are essentially judging that it's not relevant or it's not valid or it doesn't have anything of value to tell you. Or when you don't look at it. So to bring harmony into your world without judgment is to treat all of your feelings like all of your children that you love equally. We also have loneliness. I know that I am never alone. And we have perseverance. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. I'm noticing not a pattern, but I'm noticing that these are all like bluey, purpley colors, which could be lucky colors for you. Whether you would like to wear clothing of this color, carry crystals of this color, eat foods of this color, or work on your higher chakras. So your throat chakra, your third eye chakra, and your crown chakra. Seems like these are your colors. These could also be colors that are associated with the aura of the loved one who is guiding you. If you see lights of this color or see this color in your dreams, it could be a sign that this loved one is around you. They want you to know that you're never alone and you can do whatever you set your mind to. And I think putting these two together, what they're really saying is that you can always ask for help. Help is always available to those who look for it. Here in the world, through other humans or through your spirit guides, all you need to do is look for it and help will be there. Because there are so many loving beings around you and just around this earth who want to help those who sincerely ask, those who have like the interests of the highest good of all in their heart, which I think you do. Yeah, so you can definitely ask for more help. But I think those are all the messages. Oh, I want to mention as well, B, L, and P, the letters here, B, L, P, could be significant initials of you, of your loved one, or of someone significant in your life. They could also be letters in significant places, like a country or a city or a company. Yeah, so my group number 5s. I think there's also a message about like connecting to your roots, like your cultural heritage, or like going back to, like I'm imagining someone whose parents or grandparents immigrated and then they're going back to the land where their family came from just to soak it all in, or to maybe reconnect with relatives, learn more about their family story, maybe learn a language that their family spoke. Like reconnecting to your cultural roots just came up at the very end. And I'm seeing someone like traveling to a very kind of like a remote rural area, and then people being like, oh yeah, I knew your grandma, I knew your great grandpa. Yeah. So I think those are all the messages now, I think. Thank you very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content, I just saw 33. If you enjoy my content and you would like to find me elsewhere, you might also get like random, I don't know how to describe it. Like your phone might do random glitches. That's like your loved one trying to talk to you. Or you might get random emails or texts. They're like spam messages, but they're like your loved one is saying something to you. Yeah, I think dogs barking and technology glitching is like a sign that they're around you. Yeah. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, you can check out my pick a card readings on Instagram, many of which are timeless. You can check out my pick a card videos on Patreon, which are also timeless and just like these, and you get to choose a topic for those. I saw 34 too. You can check out my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video that is an original song. And you can also check out my latest release, which will be linked down below. And finally, I have a vlog channel, Kino Vlogs, and merch at kinotarot.com, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video, and we have that on hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, and tote bags. So all that stuff that I just mentioned is going to be linked down below for you in the description as well as in the pinned comment. Thank you so much for supporting me and for supporting my channel. There's also a message coming through, and I think that this is like specifically like for those of you who resonate with this being an older relative, like a grandparent, a great-grandparent, an ancestor. Even though you come from completely different generations, at least as humans you do, even though you come from completely different generations and, you know, just like the environment that you grew up in is very different, there's a feeling of like, they're saying like, oh no, I find what you're doing super cool. I'm trying to think of an example. Like, let's say you have an ancestor from like the, I don't know, the classical period of, you know, like classical music, and then you are like a rapper or like you make dubstep or something like that, and you're thinking like, oh my gosh, my ancestor would like think this is such an ear sore, they would think it's like satanic, they would think it's so weird, and they're like, no, I think it's so freaking cool, what do you mean? Or you might think, oh, this ancestor wouldn't be accepting of me because of the views of that time, but they actually would be super accepting. There's like that last message that came through. But yeah, I forget what I was saying. Anyway, thank you so much for supporting me and for supporting my channel. And thank you for being here. Group number 5, I'm sending lots of love to you, your spirit guides, the spirit guide who has come through today, your family, all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.